Hey Queens, welcome back to Vibrant Fam Vibes, your daily dose of fun, straight up drama, and the kind of real sisterhood talks we all crave.
Whether you're glowing, going through it, or just here for the mess, you're home.
Emma was the woman who always delivered, but somehow never mattered. Until the moment she realized the world doesn't reward sacrifice, it rewards ownership. This is Emma's story. The office never slept. It hummed, screens glowing, keyboards clicking, fluorescent lights buzzing like tracked insects. Everyone called it energy. Emma called it noise. She sat at her desk long after the sun had disappeared behind the city's glass spine, her reflection faint in the blackened window. Coffee had gone cold hours ago. Her shoulders ached. Her jaw was tight, locked in a position it had learned over years of restraint. On her screen, a presentation deck she had rewritten 3 times. Not because it was wrong, because perfection was the only armor she had. Emma was good, not potential good, not getting there good. She was already there. Sharp instincts, strategic mind, and almost eerie ability to see problems before they surfaced. She was the one people quietly came to when things went wrong. The fixer, the stabilizer, the invisible spine holding chaos upright. Yet, when meetings happened, her ideas arrived through someone else's mouth. When wins were announced, her name was never spoken. She watched it happen again that morning. The conference room was cold, the kind of cold that felt intentional. Executives sat at the table, arms crossed, eyes scanning slides Emma had built at 2:17 a.m. 3 nights earlier. This approach saved us months, her manager said, nodding confidently. Emma waited. Surely now. Surely this time. But the sentence ended there. No acknowledgement, no glance in her direction,
Her pen
no
stilled
pause.
between her fingers. Something small cracked inside her. Not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to be felt. Later, in the restroom, she stared at herself in the mirror. Same composed face, same practiced calm, same unspoken question in her eyes. How much more do I have to give before I matter? She had learned silence early, learned that loud girls were called difficult, learned that competence didn't protect you, it threatened others, learned that gratitude, expressed too openly, made people uncomfortable. So she stayed quiet, useful, replaceable. The injustice didn't come as an explosion. It came as a memo, an email announcing a promotion, a title Emma had worked toward for years, a role she had practically been doing already. The name beneath it wasn't hers. She read it once, twice, a third time hoping the letters might rearrange themselves out of mercy. They didn't. Her chest tightened. The room felt suddenly too small. The hum of the office grew louder, sharper, invasive. She closed her laptop slowly. Around her, people laughed, celebrated, congratulated the newly promoted colleague, the same one who had asked Emma for help last week, the same one who had taken notes while Emma spoke, then spoken those notes aloud as if they were his own. Emma gathered her bag. No one noticed her leave. That night, the city lights blurred through the windshield as tears finally came. Not loud, not dramatic, just steady and exhausted. She whispered into the empty car, voice breaking, "I'm so tired of being invisible." And the silence answered back. Pressure doesn't announce itself. It accumulates. It settles into bones, into breath, into the space between thoughts. Emma carried it everywhere, into meetings, into emails, into the shallow sleep she now called rest. She tried harder. That was the instinct. Be better, work longer, speak clearer, shrink less. She volunteered for projects no one wanted, fixed messes she didn't create, absorbed blame that wasn't hers, smiled through condescension wrapped in corporate politeness. "You're such a team player," they said. What they meant was, "You won't fight back." The betrayal came quietly. A proposal Emma had designed, strategy, risks, projections, was presented to the board without her knowledge. She found out when the applause echoed down the hallway. She stood frozen as her manager accepted praise. "I led the initiative," he said. Emma felt something tear. Not just anger, grief, for the version of herself who still believed effort guaranteed fairness. She confronted him later, calm, professional, controlled. "I noticed my work was uncredited," she said. He smiled a small, patronizing curve of lips. "You're valuable where you are," he replied. "Let's not rock the boat." Rock the boat. As if her worth was a disruption. That night, she didn't cry. She didn't scream. She sat on her bed in the dark, staring at the wall, asking herself questions that had no safe answers. What if I'm the problem? What if I'm not enough? What if this is all there is? Bills piled up. Her mother called, worried about her exhaustion. Friends noticed her absence. Emma canceled plans, claiming deadlines that were really just emptiness. At work, whispers started. "She's intense. She's emotional. She's not leadership material." The words reached her anyway. They always did. The breaking point came in public. A quarterly review. Full staff. Big screens. Executives. Emma raised a concern. Valid, data-backed, critical. The room went still. Her manager cut her off. "Let's not get negative," he said lightly. Laughter followed. Emma felt heat crawl up her neck. Her voice caught in her throat. 100 responses formed and died inside her. She nodded, sat down. Applause resumed. Inside, something collapsed. That evening, she sat alone in her car again, hands gripping the steering wheel so tightly her knuckles whitened. Quitting felt logical. Walking away felt sane. No one would blame her. She rested her forehead against the wheel and whispered, "I don't know how much longer I can do this." The city offered no answer. The dark turn. The body always knows before the mind admits it. Emma's hands began to shake. Sleep abandoned her entirely. Her chest tightened for no reason at all, breath shallow, thoughts racing. One morning, she couldn't get out of bed, not because she was weak, because she was empty. The ceiling stared back at her as if daring her to move. Tears slid into her hair, silent and relentless. Who am I if I stop? She took a sick day, then another. Messages piled up, deadlines passed. Guilt clawed at her even as her body refused to cooperate. Isolation crept in like fog. She stopped answering calls, let dishes pile in the sink, sat wrapped in a blanket staring at nothing, replaying every moment she should have spoken louder, fought harder, been different. The identity she had built, capable, reliable, unbreakable, was disintegrating. One night, panic hit like a wave. She slid down the bathroom wall, breath coming in gasps, vision tunneling. "I can't do this," she sobbed. "I can't." The words echoed off tile and fear. At her lowest, Emma believed the lie completely. Maybe I was never meant to rise. She drafted a resignation letter, read it, deleted it, drafted it again. Her finger hovered over send, and then nothing. No relief, no clarity, just a hollow ache. She realized something terrifying then. She wasn't afraid of failing, she was afraid of disappearing. The next morning, she walked into work knowing something had to change, or she wouldn't survive staying the same. The awakening.
The shift didn't arrive as confidence. It arrived as exhaustion, a bone-deep refusal to keep begging for space. Emma sat at her desk, watching the familiar patterns unfold, the interruptions, the dismissals, the subtle erasure, and felt something unexpected rise. Not rage, clarity. She opened a document, not for work, for herself. She wrote everything she had swallowed over the years, every stolen idea, every ignored contribution, every moment she had shrunk to be palatable. The truth stared back at her in black and white. I am not invisible. I was made invisible. That realization cracked something open. Emma stopped volunteering for invisibility. She spoke once in a meeting. Firm, measured, undeniable. When interrupted, she continued speaking. When credit was misattributed, she corrected it, calmly, publicly. The room shifted. Resistance followed, of course it did, but so did something else. Respect. Not from everyone, but from herself. She began documenting her work, building her voice deliberately, seeking allies instead of approval, preparing not to fit in, but to lead. An opportunity appeared, not inside the company, but outside it. A role that required vision, courage, and a spine forged in pressure. She applied, interviewed, spoke with a clarity born of survival. When the offer came, Emma didn't hesitate. She resigned. This time, the silence that followed wasn't heavy. It was free. The victory. The new office had windows that opened. Light poured in. Emma stood in her new role not because someone finally noticed her, but because she claimed her space. Her voice carried weight now, not because it was louder, but because it was grounded in truth. Challenges still came, doubt still whispered, but it no longer defined her. She mentored women who reminded her of her former self. She spoke openly about boundaries, credit, self-worth. And one evening, standing alone as the city lights blinked on, Emma caught her reflection again. This time, she smiled, not because the struggle was over, but because she knew who she was. She whispered not in desperation, but in power. I see you now. And in that moment, so did every woman listening. If you are watching this and you feel unseen, if you are tired, overlooked, doubting your worth, know
Your
this.
silence was never your weakness. Your endurance was never your limit. You are not behind. You are becoming. And like Emma, the moment you stop asking to be seen is the moment the world has no choice but to look at you. If she can rise, so can you.